plus-size influencer who petitioned for free extra plane seats. She is now calling on hotels to make their hallways wider so she can fit along with other folks who can't fit at the moment. This is what we're doing. We are asking people to accommodate everything, make everything inclusive. Let's get into it. Here we go. This should be one of those stupid human stories, right? You know, stupid pet stories or stupid pet tricks. This should be a stupid human influencer trick, because that's what this is. I recorded a podcast last week and it had an influencer named Meatball. She was one of the ones that was leading the charge to loot all the stores, the Lululemon, all those stores that they looted in Philly after that innocent verdict over the police shooting somebody. So a plus-size influencer who previously demanded airlines comp larger passengers for extra seats. What? You need 2 seats, so you want us to give you 1 for free? And by us, I mean all the other citizens who are paying for uno seat. You want that? All right. I mean, got to get this going so you guys can read it. You guys need to read this important stuff, right? Is now asking hotels around the world to make a number of changes to accommodate overweight guests. What about just big guests? What about just enormous, huge guests? Do you remember Andre the Giant, the wrestler? He could drink like 100 beers at a setting. And I remember in Sports Illustrated when I was a kid, he had one of the pictures was he had a beer can, and I think it was one of those steel beer cans way back in the day. Remember those? And he was holding a beer can, and his hand you couldn't see the beer can. It was, there's Andre the Giant. I don't remember Andre the Giant saying, I need 4 seats, got to give them to me for free. He did whatever it took, right? He also didn't live very long life, 48, something like that. Sad. And we'll get into that too. Life expectancy for those who may need to put the fork down a little bit more. Making hallways wider. All right, let's talk about that for 1 second. How big are you if you need a hallway made wider? Right? I mean, that's big. I've been around some good sized folks, big athletes, tall athletes, big athletes. And you know what? Most of them can fit on a plane, no problem. They can fit down hallways. Seriously, how big are we talking here? I mean, because in a video posted to her TikTok last month, Jillian Cheney listed several ways hotels can create size-inclusive amenities. Do we need to do this? Is this the responsibility of others that you can't put the fork down? Is that our response? I say no. I say hell to the no. Right? Because, I mean, otherwise we're just going to start going down all these roads of, all right, inclusive for them. And you can't please everybody. If this was something that these folks were born with, all right, yeah, I've got a really slow, whatever gland. Okay, yeah, but look at what you eat. Look at your dietary, look at your lack of exercise. Choices, folks. We've got choices here. Let's see this video.
The needs of plus-size travelers matter just as much as anybody else, and today I'm going to cover what we are looking for in accessible, size-inclusive hotel amenities. Size-inclusive hotel amenities are crucial for ensuring that plus-size travelers feel welcomed, accommodated, and comfortable during their stay. We deserve an environment that respects our needs and body diversity. These are the exact steps that hotels can take to be more size-inclusive and accessible for travelers of all sizes. Number 1 on the list, provide sturdy, wider chairs without armrests in guest rooms, lobbies, and common areas to accommodate different body sizes and types. Number 2 on the list, ensure beds with strong support and a higher weight capacity, along with providing reinforced chairs and wider bathroom facilities. Number 3, make elevators and hallways spacious to allow for easy movement of larger individuals and those utilizing mobility devices. Number 4, install grab bars in showers and near toilets. Offer adjustable handheld shower heads and raised toilet seats for added accessibility. Number 5, train staff to be respectful, understanding, and accommodating to travelers of all sizes. Number 6, provide pool lifts and handrails at the entry of the pool. This will allow for plus-size guests and guests with different abilities to enjoy all amenities. Number 7, hotel restaurants should have roomy seating options and sturdy chairs, ensuring that everybody can dine comfortably. Number 8, offer larger beach and pool seating. Provide oversized loungers and seating at the beach and pool areas, allowing travelers of all sizes and abilities to be comfortable. Number 9, hotels should provide size-inclusive bathrobes. These should go up to a size 6X and beyond. And hotels should also provide bath sheets or plus-size friendly towels so that travelers of all sizes and abilities can use them comfortably. And last but not least, this is an important one. Display clear and accurate information on these amenities on hotel websites. Include weight limits, seat dimensions, and things like that. And include information on the size-inclusive amenities available. This will help plus-size travelers make informed decisions. By implementing these size-inclusive hotel amenities, hotels can become more inclusive and accommodating. Be sure to hit that follow button for more plus-size travel tips and share this with someone who you think would help.
All right. You guys got to hit that follow button. I mean, the world that we live in, right? The world that we live in. I mean, everybody is so entitled to whatever it is that floats their boat. If you can't if you take a shower and you can't dry off with a normal sized towel, I never go to a hotel and go, oh God, that towel is not going to work. That is not going to work. If you have to have extra strength seats, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is not the hotel's problem. Are we going to live in a world where everything is just, Mongo huge? Is that the direction we're going? Because that's what she was requesting. Just supersize everything. You ever travel outside of the United States and you look at how small things are? You look at how small the food portions are, and you look at how much healthier the food is. Well, we're going the opposite direction here. We're going, hey, McDonald's is good. It's fine. And if you want to go to McDonald's 3-4 times a day, no problem. We'll get you a bigger seat. We'll pay for an extra seat for you on the plane because you need it. You're big, right? This is not headed in the right direction. She said she's on a mission to revolutionize the travel industry and make it a more accessible, accepting, accommodating place for all, adding, the needs of plus-size travelers matter just as much as anybody else. One of the things about this, and we're seeing this more and more in social media, is body positivity is one thing, but when you are body positivity about somebody who is exceptionally overweight, and it's impacting their health, and it's going to reduce their life expectancy severely, that's not really going in the right direction. What about the whole, hey, over a certain percentage of body fat and your rate of heart attack goes up, just everything goes through the roof. And then all the rest of us have to pay for that. So how about that for inclusivity? Yeah, and there are a ton of influencer accounts out there right now with people who need to put the fork down and need to exercise more, period. And you might say, well, Sean, that's not very inclusive. Well, yeah, but it's kind of like, hey, you know what? You're a heroin addict. Put the needle down. That's destroying you. Same deal, right? Same deal. But instead, what we're doing and what society is doing is telling these folks it's okay to be enormous to the point where a towel won't work for you because you're just so big. I think on a lot of the things that she's asking for, like the crane to pull somebody out of the swimming pool, that's already in place at many hotels because of the whole ADA thing, the handicapped and people who can't get around. And okay, so you want wider hallways because you want wider hallways. Oh, I need to turn that off. In order to get around on the little carts. I do see people at Costco. I see people at the grocery store, sometimes like on an oxygen machine, and they're just enormous individuals. And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, you know what? We're giving you this little, cart to get around in, this a little Amigo scooter. But we're just making your condition worse because instead of getting that exercise and burning those calories, we're just saying, hey, you're really overweight. Here you go. Here's a cart. Now, what they're designed for, those carts are designed for people with mobility issues, handicapped, right? And being wildly overweight, to me, by your own choice, does not qualify. And what we're seeing is a lot of young ladies. Let's be honest. There aren't a lot of dudes who are like, hey, I'm really overweight. Here I am. Follow me. But you're seeing that on social media, and you're seeing people get hundreds of thousands of followers. And it's because there's a whole environment out there that says, hey, fat is beautiful, but it won't address the whole. Jordan Peterson, he said it very well. Hey, it's impacting your health. And as a society, we should not be encouraging that. We should not be following. We should not be, hey, you can't exercise because you're so overweight, because you're feeding that mouth so much. Well, all right, here's your scooter. Just enabling, right? It's kind of like handing out a tent. It's handing out, here's a blanket. Just keep living outside. It's good. Here's your clean needles. All that harm reduction, and all it is harm production. Well, by doing these things, we're not putting people in the right mindset of, okay, this is a choice I can make. I can either choose to eat chicken breast, or I can have this really greasy, tasty, fatty pizza. And you've got choices. Everybody's got choices, and everybody knows it. And the health aspect, to me, that's why the United States is just so wildly different compared to other parts of the world, other countries. Had the experience of hanging out with a rock band from Italy, Paul Audia. And he's a great guitarist, and he's a smoking guitarist. And I'll have a video up on my private channel at some point in time. Not my private channel, but my personal channel. Shot a video. They played 2 dates here in Seattle. They played at the Blue Moon Tavern, and then also at in Pioneer Square. I forget the name of the second. You'd know it if you heard it, if you're a Seattleite. But the first thing their drummer wanted to do is, I want to have a big American breakfast. I want to eat waffles. So my friend Mike, who booked them, he took them to a place where they had, just the big American breakfast. And all these guys from Italy, they were all thin. I mean, they were all just slim, as a lot of Italians are, even though, they eat these small portions of some of the greatest food out there, right? And I told him, hey, you keep eating like that, you're going to look like an American. Well done. And he goes, oh man, it was a lot of food. I'm like, yeah, that's what we do here in America. We just, enormous plates of food. When I went to Australia as a kid, visiting my family, my grandma there, super small servings. Like, supersize me. Well, the opposite of that. Undersize my servings, to the point where my dad would take my brother and I to get like dinner number 2 after dinner. We'd be like going to the beach, and instead we're just going to get some food because my grandma just, different sizes. United States, we eat a lot of food, and that's how you end up here as an influencer, talking about, we need wider hallways, and, we need stronger chairs, and we need better backing for this and this, because we're all just so heavy. I mean, it's wild that this is the route we're going down. We deserve an environment that respects our needs and body diversity, Cheney claimed. I don't have an issue with body diversity, but because I know there's a lot of different body styles out there. And how you might say, well, that kid's husky, and he's a big kid. And there's some body fat there, yes, but essentially he's just huge, just big. All right. That's one thing. What we're talking about here is just lack of discipline. Just lack of discipline. I'm not saying on all of these influencers, but so many of them, you open up their page, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole of just seeing who's out there and what they're doing. And, they're trying on outfits and stuff, and, they're 5'8", 350, 5'8", 400, just wildly overweight. And does society really need to conform to their inability to put that down that fork? Because that's the only way you get that big, right? Only way, unless you've got some just crazy medical deal, but so few of those are actual cases because you got to put the calories in order to maintain that type of body mass, right? Among our many demands were to make elevators and hallways more spacious, to allow for easy movement of larger individuals and those utilizing mobility devices. I've been around a lot of good-sized folks, and they don't need wider hallways. They manage to turn their shoulders and get through it, right? If you got really big shoulders. And that's the only way I can see this. When do you need a wider hallway? I've never gone to a hotel and thought, God, these hallways are just too narrow. And getting into an elevator, I never thought, this elevator is just this. I mean, if I were a big individual, I couldn't fit in here. That's just not something, that's not a thing. Cheney also suggested hotels raise their toilet seats and retrofit each room with handheld shower heads so bigger bodied people can more easily wash themselves. Again, I say, are we talking about this? How are we going down this road where you're expecting everything to center around you? If you can't get off the toilet, regular sized toilet, that might be your calling card to, okay, if you've got a medical condition, all right, I'm willing to give you that one. But I think most folks who have that, they're not expecting the world to revolve around them. And that's what we've got going on here, because everybody's been told you deserve a participation ribbon. You don't. Life is a game. You play it. You'll either be a winner or a loser. And if you're expecting everybody to make the game revolve around you, that is not going to work out well. And yet, as society, that is literally, oh, it's okay. Participation ribbon for you. Yep. You got in for one play and, your team got absolutely crushed, but you're a good person. And, we really strongly believe in you. Here's your participation. No, you either win or you lose, right? It's not about inclusivity. That's how we've got to so many of these issues, is trying to go down this road instead of people making themselves better and losing a little bit of weight. And then you don't have to haul yourself off the toilet because you're just so big that your legs, your quads and your hamstrings can no longer support the weight. It's like doing a 400-pound squat. That's heavy. And that's what these folks are talking about. Just some enormous, pounds being moved. So in a video posted to her TikTok last month, Jalynn Cheney listed several ways. Okay, we talked about that. She previously demanded airlines comp overweight passengers for extra seats they may need. When I sit next to somebody who's extra large, it is difficult because I am not particularly small. I am 6'1", 200, and I bounce between 215 and 220. I'm right now right around 220, 219.6, my last weigh in. So I'm not a small individual. So when I sit next to somebody, my side is up against them. We are like, we're right there. We're sweating on each other, literally. I mean, you get up and you're like, oh man, this is difficult. So, it's one of those things where I get that there's a lot of folks out there that are bigger, but this whole revolving around somebody else because of these issues. Hotels should provide size inclusive bathrooms, she said in the video. They should go up to size 6X and beyond. That is morbidly obese. Right? That's morbidly obese. But you know what we're doing? Kind of just like the whole drug thing. It's okay. If you want to do drugs, that's fine. Harm reduction says people want to do drugs. They should do drugs. We're saying here, people want to feed themselves until they're size 6X and beyond. What is beyond 6X? I didn't know there was one. I didn't know we had size 6X. That's big. Additionally, Cheney said hotels should put up handrails in pools and invest in sturdier and wider chairs for the lounges and poolside so that larger bodied people can relax in peace and be able to get up and move from said room because they've fed themselves so many calories that they've got this massive surplus of body weight that they can no longer move around on their own. Talk about, just go in the wrong direction. No, we should not do any of these things. And you know why? Because this doesn't really help anybody. This enables said behavior just further. And it's kind of like giving drug addicts everything but the drug. It doesn't create a situation where they're like, okay, there's pushback here. And in years past, you'd have pushback on something like this. But now we've gone through this inclusivity and, diversity, and we need all kinds of different people. Hey, I understand there's all kinds of different shapes, sizes, and whatnot. And not everybody fits in to this stereotypical size 0, 5'7" model, right? That's just, is the ideal. I understand that. But when you're talking 6X, that's a little outside of the norm. And everybody knows it. That again is literally morbidly obese. And you want us to cover your inability to regulate your diet. No. And she said, hotels need to train staff to be respectful, understanding, and accommodating to travelers of all sizes. Yes, they do, but you're asking us to specifically go out of our way, and society to go specifically out of our way, because in order to pay for said retro whatever, stuff they're going to do to these hotel rooms, they're going to boost the prices up for all of us. So then we pay for your eating habits. Right. And that's where I'm kind of a hard no-go. And I'm a hard no-go on this because it is one of those, it's a self-discipline thing. And it feels like we've just absolutely given up on self-discipline in general. It's like, just do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Well, we'll make those hallways bigger. We'll do all this stuff. We'll get you a bigger chair. We'll get you the husky sized chair. You know what I mean? No, because for the vast majority of people, whatever's in the hotel right now is already accommodating. You are asking for extra plus. And to me, I'm a no-go. In the caption, Cheney wrote, creating a space where every guest feels valued and comfortable is essential. Agreed. But we don't need to go out of our way just because there's a very, very, very small percentage of the population that can't regulate their diet, doesn't have the discipline to do so, and can't figure out how to put the fork down and go for a walk. Yeah. So, I'm sorry that's your condition. I'm sorry that's where you sit, but it doesn't mean I should just say, hey, that's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Here's how we're going to help you. Help us, help you, help us. Right? We're not doing that. Vast majority of stuff in hotels is already situated for bigger people, just not enormous people like you're talking about, where there should be a subsidy for the extra plane on the extra seat on the plane. No. Size inclusive hotel amenities are more than just accommodations. They're a statement of respect for diverse needs and body types, she continued. What about for the extra skinny people who are cold all the time? What about for them? About turning the heat up. Hey, let's have a heat monitoring system for really skinny people because they're cold all the time. And the temperature at which the rest of us are comfortable at doesn't work for them. From spacious chairs to thoughtful bathroom facilities, every detail matters, she wrote. Let's make travel truly accessible and welcoming for travelers of all sizes and abilities. This is where people look at America and just go, what a bunch of ridiculous nonsense. And I can't disagree. This is just ridiculous, isn't it? But Cheney's demands were met with mixed reviews online. What? No way. I agree this is ideal, but some of these are out of the hotel's control. Lift size, for example, one person wrote, using the British term for an elevator. Another TikTok user, though, commented, I'm backing you 100%. That's what I see a lot of. And, we're going down this road of supporting people when we shouldn't be, because they're going to die way earlier. Statistically, we just know this. So we're just saying, hey, keep feeding your face. Yeah, you're going to have a heart attack, your late 30s, and your back's going to give out. You're going to be immobile and not that much longer. But you know what? Here you go. Here's an extra big fork, and just keep doing your thing. we'll work all around you because it's so healthy for you. Others were harsher in their views of Cheney's demands, with one woman asking, how are you going to ask for things to change, but you refuse to change yourself? Oh, hey now, that's a zinger. You know what the problem is? They don't think they need to change. They're big individuals and they're proud of it. The way that they prance around in workout outfits. Hey, if you're on a journey to better yourself, that's one thing. But if you are just big and you're comfortable with exactly how enormous you are and want the rest of us to, go that direction, if you want to do your own influencer channel and, tout that about, and you've got enough people following you, I say the more the merrier, but I'm not going to subsidize it. I'm not going to subsidize your behavior, your inability, like this individual says. How are you going to ask for things to change, but refuse to change yourself? Yeah. Another suggested it would be cheaper to diet. But then we are saying that being fat is not the way to go, right? It's not the way to go. I am fat, and I will let no airline or hotel pay for my eating habits, she wrote, while a male user said Cheney was entitled for making these demands. Absolutely, 100%. But we are an entitled society. Hey, you deserve this. You're not a hard worker. You're not a particularly good worker, but we're going to give you a raise anyway. Right? Because everybody gets a participation ribbon. Everybody thinks, well, I need this. I need the ability to work remotely. All these other guys have it. I haven't been here for more than 6 months, but everybody's entitled to more. And that's not the way this works. And these folks, talk about morbidly obese. That's these are large individuals and we shouldn't be paying for them. Imagine feeling so entitled to demand that an entire industry accommodate your inability to put down the fork, he wrote, calling it wild. That sounds like me, right? Imagine feeling so entitled to demand that an entire industry accommodate your inability to put down the fork. Yeah. Cheney labels herself as a plus-size travel, fashion, and lifestyle creator and has more than 134,000 followers on TikTok. Yeah, we are literally telling an entire generation of women out there that it's because I don't see this with the guys. I don't see it. Guys make fun of each other. They're like, dude, you're fat. Go to the gym. Figure it out. Right? That's what we do. Dude, you are really overweight. Hey, if you want to, if that's your thing, but don't complain about it because you could be going to the gym. You could be burning off some of those calories. You could, make yourself more attractive, whatever it is. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But we're not changing the effing elevators for you because you're 500 pounds. You know what I mean? It's just, that's crazy. But on the other side, for women, there's an entire generation that's out there. It's like, yeah, I need to feel good about myself. Well, you do, but if you've got an issue that needs some looking at, some change maybe, but we're not really doing that. We're just saying, however you are is good. 500-600 pounds. You know what? A stat that I saw the other day, or a meme that I saw the other day was, that 600-pound show, my 600-pound whatever it is. Not one of those folks, I think it was in the current season, not one of those folks is single. Right? 600 plus pounds. And you've got either a spouse or husband or a boyfriend or a significant other or girlfriend or whatever it is, they, them, whatever the contraption is today. Not one of them. Because we're so inclusive as a society that we're just like, oh yeah, it's good. It's all good. You're all good. It's all good. And then we see kind of just this utter decay and just, crazy town stuff going on. And we're like, wonder how we got there. How did we get there? How did this happen? That's because all this stuff plays together, right? All right. Make it so that people that are too big can get off the toilet. Get those big toilets in there. All right. But no, what about for the vertically challenged people? They can't get on the toilet now. So do we have to have rooms for vertically challenged people? All right. They can't hop up on the bed. They got to do a running jump and get up on you know what I mean? Just so many different things. I realize everybody's not the ideal body weight, but we are talking way, way off the charts here. 6X or whatever it is, because most fairly overweight people can still fit on a plane, I've ridden next to, multiple times. I'm like, oh man, I hope that's not my seat, just in my head. And you're like, okay, it is. All right, let's make the best of this. And, it ends up working out. And I say that because I can only scrunch so far. You know what I mean? I can only make my body so small to get in that seat. And I just know it's going to be a long flight. And most of the flights lately have been either to not much to Maui. I've been there for a couple of years, but Oklahoma City, that's 4.5-hour flight. Not terrible. It's not like flying to Australia, which is, from Maui, it's another 12-hour. That's a long flight. You want to be on first class on that one, but that's just a long time to be sitting up. Hey, I guess I'll check out my iPad again because I've already read the 3 books I brought. Those are hard trips when you're next to somebody who's infringing on your space. But as society, we've just basically told everybody about everything. Hey, you can identify as whatever you want. Yeah, if you're a boy, you're a girl. If you're a girl, you can be a boy. And then that's transferring over to everything else as well, right? Yeah, this isn't going to work because it doesn't work like that. The system doesn't work like that. And yet people are thinking, well, they get it because they're whatever. And we're all supposed to be inclusive now. World doesn't work like that. And it's world, especially outside of the United States, does not work like that. They look at Americans and go, ugly Americans. And you know what? Hey, I'm a plus size model. And I see that you don't have towels big enough for me and you're in France or somewhere. What? That's called being an ugly American. Just expecting the world to revolve around how your world operates in the United States. And we live in a little tiny bubble. Even the news that we read is in a little tiny bubble. There's a whole rest of the world going on out there. But we talk about San Francisco and Portland and Seattle and New York, as if it's the only thing that's really out there. Meanwhile, last month, you had 120,000 illegal immigrants come through the southern border because wherever they're coming from, a lot of them Venezuela, things aren't so great, right? So you ask those folks what they think about hotels needing to put in wider elevators and wider hallways. Yeah, we're going to need you to basically expand the footprint or make the room smaller so we can have wider hallways. That's a hard no-go for me. It's just like, what? But then, these influencers, that's the mindset that they're in, which is, I'm okay. You're a big girl. You're a big guy. It's all good. We're all just going to, reflect on our body positivity and we're going to go down this road and then wonder why nobody else is accommodating our needs. Cause that's not how this works. It's just not, right? Now, when things went through the whole ADA, when we finally got to the point where, handicapped people can finally actually get around, that stuff, I don't really have an issue with that. All right, you got to be able to make it accessible for a wheelchair. All right, but then go down to Portland and try and get around on an effing wheelchair on the streets there, right? I mean, so many of those are just no-goes. You're just not going to be out in a wheelchair on those sidewalks, to the point where they literally had a lawsuit saying, we can't get around. Somebody that's blind, they can't get around these homeless encampments because you've just allowed these folks to just live willy-nilly wherever. It's all right. You're a drug addict. We're fully inclusive here. Here's your booty bump kit. Here's your pipe. Here's your clean needle. Here's your tent. We'll set it up for you on the sidewalk. That is literally what activists have been doing in the past. I don't know if that's still a thing because there was enough of us who did stories on how many tents were being handed out in Multnomah County and how many blankets. And I think it's finally gone down this road of, you know what? All of that giving free stuff away may not be the brightest thing to be doing in a city that literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of people on drugs living in tents on our sidewalks, period. Right? Even Mayor Ted down in Portland is like, I don't think we should be enabling that type of behavior anymore. You know what I mean? But this whole body diversity thing, all right, I'm okay with diversity, but if you're on one of those spectrums, I don't think it's reasonable to expect the rest of us to revolve around your world, especially if it's something that can be avoided, like through exercise and diet. I know it sounds cliche. It really does. But there's got to be a little bit of personal responsibility. If you're a big individual and you're never going to be thin, I get that. I get that. I see a lot of guys and I'm like, well, you're never going to have a six pack because you are just enormous. And for you to cut down to that body weight, that's just not reasonable. Or same thing to a gal, whatever. But then to have these folks who are just like, nah, 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 nah. Give me a bigger wheelchair. Give me a bigger sidewalk. Give me a bigger elevator. No. Ixnay to that one, right? So it'll be interesting. I mean, are we in a world that's crazy enough where, okay, yeah, all right, I guess we haven't been all that, we haven't been all that welcoming of you. One of the, and therefore will change. One of the hotels, I'm probably going to go down to Oklahoma City again to see my parents for Thanksgiving. That seems to work out. I've been down there, I think the last couple of times or maybe 3 times. I don't know, something like that. But the hotel I've been staying at it's called a loft and it's a division of Marriott. I love Marriott. I think it's just great. Marriott Westin is, I don't know. You can never keep those conglomerates together, but it's very European and things are actually small. Like the little seats are small because it's European, right? I mean, it's just small. You've got nothing to put your bag out, kind of stick your bag on the bed, call it good. Got a little tiny table, little tiny chairs. It's fine. It's totally fine. But a bigger individual, let's just say they would not be staying at this type of European flair. It's a total box American hotel, but it's brand new. And so they've gone after this European flair. And if you've stayed in a loft, you know what I'm talking about. They do have a bar in the lobby that's open. And even though it's basically just it's a small upgrade from your standard Marriott hotel. But, I go down that roadway because there is no way you're going to retrofit an entire hotel, especially one that's just built. People are just going to, what's the benefit here so that you don't have to take any responsibility for your own personal food consumption? No, I don't think so. In those Biggest Losers shows, that to me was always just so wildly misleading. Because, you're basically just sweating out a bunch of water. You're not actually losing fat. You're losing some fat, but the body's ability to lose fat, it doesn't really work like that. You can lose like 1 pound of fat a week because that's how much of a calorie deficit you can create in a week. Anything beyond that, you're losing lean muscle tissue. And that's terrible because then you've got less muscle tissue to burn those calories and you've got more muscle tissue in the form of, not muscle tissue, but you've got more tissue on you in the form of fat. And that's not the direction you want to go. So, as a society, we're just telling these people, it's okay to do what you're doing. Keep doing that. And then we'll listen to you when you've got an issue, which is, you're too big for your one plane seat. Let's give you a free one. Why? Why should we do that? Because it's inclusive and we have a right. Okay. And that's where I'm like, you don't have a right. That's not a right. That's not a thing. We're not doing that. But there will probably be some hotel chain that's like, oh, hey now. It's kind of like Target creating the pouch in the little kids' bathing suits for, whatever genitalia probably doesn't belong in that bathing suit, but we're going to do it anyway. There'll probably be some hotel like that. Let's do that. Let's make everything plus size. And then again, do we have vertically challenged? Do we have, hotels for the auditorily challenged? And I'm not making fun of any of these people, but there's a lot of different folks outside of the box that aren't clamoring for bigger towels, taller toilets, stronger chairs. That's just crazy because of something that can be controlled. If you can't control it, you're born that way. All right. Yeah. There's not much you can do there. But so much of this is clearly, you cannot get that big without. It's like a lot of the activists we see are just large individuals. And unfortunately, they are large, younger ladies and gentlemen. There was a guy in a video, Jonathan Cho, young dude. Let's just say he'd had more than one bag of Cheetos, right? I mean, and he's just, he's out there. And you see that in the activists a lot. I'm not sure why that is. Just eating a lot because lonely, bored, don't really fit in anywhere. You hate to marginalize people like that, but then what is the reason? Why is this a thing? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not, in their headspace because I'm polar opposite to vast majority of what they do. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.